Fate Stay Night 18?
18.
I guess.
I think so.
Yeah.
Let's go. Let's go. Oh shit, is that the baby?
Last time we were on it, what happened? I get Archer threw a big bang into us,
Yeah, he tried
kill
to
us
get rid
even?
of us together with Berserker. And then we threw ourselves on top of Saber to protect her, right? Got a significant chunk of our back
No, we
blown
carried
out.
her. I remember that we carried her, I guess.
Yeah, we carried her, but then we fell kind of together. And there was something that got into our back and it made like a big hole. But we started healing almost immediately.
And then she took it out.
Yeah, and then we started healing almost
Very
immediately.
painfully, I guess.
And
Yeah.
we passed out. Ilya went away with Berserker still alive. And now we are asleep.
Oh, and that's a good now I remember the good question. Does Berserker's lives regenerate of sorts? If someone kills him once, does eventually his noble phantasm give him another life
Not that I'm aware of.
sorts?
I think they're ablative. They're not
Because
regenerative.
something tells me that Berserker died a few times over there.
No, who knows? We'll see. February 3rd, Unlimited Blade Works 4. 1 Day, Part 3. Oh, this is going to be interesting.
Oh,
It's a landscape I've never seen before. The fiery sky above, and an infinite number of swords at my feet. Are they traces of war? The world is inorganic, and there are no living things. The ashen wind courses through the forest of swords. The swords stand like trees in a forest. It's not just 10, nor 20, not 100 or 200. No matter how many there are, if it is impossible for them to be counted, they might as well be infinite. The tools are rusting without anybody to use them. A ruin of infinite swords. He thinks that it's like a graveyard. My vision returns.
Oh, wait a minute.
We have returned. My vision returns. I don't know how long it's been, but I can feel the warm sunlight. I open my eyes and recall the dream I was having. That hill of swords. I'm sure I saw that dream because I saw Saber along with the fire at the cemetery.
Oh, お目覚め? それは結構大事がなくて何よりだわ。
I mean, to be fair, going back to the first 3 days, Shiro did say that he had very frequent sword dreams. So, perhaps not the ones with a hill. Then, Tosaka-rin says this in her normal tone while looking down at me. I jump up. I instantly jump back to the wall to get away from Tosaka.
That's probably a funny moment in the anime, but anyway.
My head spins. I should have been at that hill of swords. No, at the burning cemetery, so why am I asleep in my room?
トサカ、どうしてお前がここにいて、俺は何してたんだ?
My head spins even more after I say that. It's not because of this surprising event. I'm surprised the most at seeing Tosaka right when I wake up. It's causing my heart to beat at an abnormal rate.
驚くんならどっちかに驚きなさいよ。どっちも取れるほど器用じゃないでしょ、エミヤ君は。
Bruh. Tosaka is just acting
What?
cool. That snaps my groggy mind into focus. That's right. It's natural to be surprised at seeing Tosaka immediately after waking up. But that must mean...
そうか。状況を見ると、気を失った俺をここまで運んでくれたんだな。
Tosaka saves the day again.
へえ、なんだ、見た目より頭の回転は早いんだ。混乱しているようで、ちゃんと物事は考えているのね。
I wish she wouldn't say things that I couldn't take as either insult or praise.
じゃああれから半日ぐらいしか経ってないのか。俺ん家まで運んでくれたってことは人目につかないで逃げられたんだ。
ええ、そういうこと。話が早くて助かるわ。
She must be satisfied. Saying goodbye, Tosaka starts to leave.
おい、どこ行くんだよ、トサカ。
あなたまだ寝ぼけてる？どこに行くも何も、ここはあなたの家じゃない。
She speaks clearly. Her eyes say, "We're enemies to me." That's true. Last night, in that church I said I would fight. So we can only fight each other.
そうだったな。すまない、トサカ。それと、今更だけど、ありがとう。
Then, Tosaka stops and glares at me.
待った。どうしてそこで礼なんか出るの？
いや、だって助けてもらっただろ。敵同士だって言うんなら、なおさらありがたいと思って。
ちょっと、そこに座りなさい、エミヤ君。
I don't know what she wants, but I'm sure it will be bad if I don't obey.
ほら、早く。
She taps on the tatami. It seems she has a serious matter to talk about. I sit down.
いい？まだ分かってないようだから言ってあげるけど、そんな考えじゃ死ぬわよ、あなた。
そんな考えってどんなだよ。
だから間違っても敵にありがとうなんて言うなってことよ。いちいちそんな気になってたら命がいくつあっても足りないわ。いい？相手はただの障害よ。人間の形をしていて人間の言葉を喋るからって自分と同じだなんて思わないで。
Tosaka speaks with a strong voice and sharp eyes. She's certainly right. If it's wrong to feel compassion for an enemy, it is also wrong to consider them to be just like you. Since I have decided to fight, they are only things I need to defeat. Yes, I understand her point of view, but...
ちょっと聞いてる？いい？聖杯戦争は聖杯を手に入れるためだけの殺し合いなんだから。そのためには他のマスターを人間として見ないこと。たとえ肉親でも叩き潰す対象と割り切りなさい。まったく、こんなことマスターとしての第一条件じゃない。
Well, but...
それは分かった。けど、ならなんでトサカは俺を殺さなかったんだ？
Isn't this a problem? Tosaka unmasked.
Bruh.
Where did her previous attitude go? She grumbles angrily.
単に気分が乗らなかっただけよ。あなたには借りがあったし、寝込みを襲うなんてフェアじゃないもの。だからなんか気に食わないなって。
トサカ、お前今勝つためならいかなる手段も使えみたいなこと言わなかったか？
Presumably
Because that would
sleeping,
be a
maybe?
good excuse. Because that would be a good excuse. Why didn't I kill you? Yeah, because there's this big fat woman, this big thick King Arthur with a big sword that nearly killed my guy the first time, and I don't want to do it again. Like that would make a good excuse. But anyway, I understand we need to have our tsundere moments.
I don't know if that's just a tsundere moment. I think that's just Tosaka being a good person moment. She puts on this act because she doesn't want Shiro to get steamrolled by other masters, but it's not like she's dedicated to killing him. We saw that enough in the Fate route.
Fair enough. She is not truly a child soldier. She is just a girl that was sent in a war by her father.
She can definitely be pushed into getting very angry and trying to punish him, but she's not going to kill him.
She's just a really good person.
Yeah.
She just doesn't acknowledge that.
She does have a bad temper, though. Oh, I heard that phrase before.
心の贅肉?
What the fuck? Emiya!
トサカが太ってるってことか?
Oh no!
面白いこと言うのね、エミヤ君は。
Oh my god.
でも、これからは余計な変動は控えた方がいいわよ。警察の行動は死を招くだけだから。
Absolutely.
This is the secret technique all over again.
Oh no, yes. That was scary. No fucking shit,
Yeah,
Emiya.
that was a thing.
I feel a chill and back up.
とにかく私の話はそれだけよ。後のことはあなたのサーバントにでも聞きなさい。
Tosaka stands up and leaves for sure this time.
それじゃあね。今度会ったら敵同士だから、その時は覚悟しなさい。
Don't worry about it, Tosaka. We got this.
I got this.
And with that, she disappears. It really must have been a whim of hers to carry me here and treat me. She left with no regret or sentiment, leaving only the line that we're enemies. I love how it's just the fourth day, and it's already very different. We haven't even created an alliance with Dean yet. I take a breath and analyze the situation. I haven't had time to think since I saw that fight between Lancer and Archer last night.
Wait a minute. We will not have the scene of Sakura and Rin just staring at each other upon seeing themselves in the same house.
Not yet. I mean, we
That
haven't
would be pretty funny.
created an alliance with Tosaka. We're enemies.
Damn.
She still has agency. Well, full agency.
That's sad. That was a funny scene. But anyway.
I finally realize I was stabbed by Lancer after that, was saved for some reason, and attacked by Lancer again.
Saber に助けられてマスターになった。
What I heard at the church, the killings call the Holy Grail War. The Holy Grail which grants any wish given to the winner. I can't absorb all the facts, but I have been attacked 3 times already, so I can't be confused forever. And most of all, I said I would fight since I could not ignore this battle. A fight for a single chair called the Holy Grail. No matter what your expectations are, once you enter it, you can't survive unless you defeat your enemies. The problem is that defeating other masters might result in harm to innocent people depending on your methods. That's why...
俺の戦う理由は
He said
聖
it.
杯戦争に勝ち残るためじゃなくて
My reason for fighting is not to win the Holy Grail War.
君の望みはようやく叶う。
どんな手を使っても勝ち残ろうとする奴を力ずくでも止めること。
Huh. That's right. It shouldn't be a mistake. Emiyoshiro has been training in magic to become a superhero, to protect innocent people.
よし。まずはセイバーに話を聞かないと。
I shake off the priest's words and exit into the hallway. Yorokobe my ass, you fuck.
That's probably going to the compilation of UBW.
Oh, definitely. I look through the house.
Face.
I look everywhere someone could possibly be, including all the guest rooms, but I can't find Saber.
あれ。あの格好なんだ。いればすぐにわかるもんだけど。
Even so, I can't find Saber anywhere. I guess servants can become spirits, but I can't turn her into one anyway. No, first of all...
マスターだなんて言うけど、俺、あいつのこと何も知らないんだよな。
I don't understand who she is or how she exists. The only thing I know is that I'm confident I'll be able to win this strange war if I'm with her. Stop playing with my heart, Shiro.
ここにもいない。
I've searched throughout the
It
house.
is not Shiro that you need to get pissed off at.
Oh yeah, I'll kill Nasu one day. It's a big house, but I didn't play hide and seek here with Fujine as a kid for nothing. I know the most efficient way to search this place. If I haven't found her after searching this much, then she should either be in the dojo or in the shed. We know where she is. So. Saber is in the silent dojo, but her appearance is different from yesterday's. Sitting in a Japanese fashion on the wooden floor, she is not wearing her armor. She has changed into refined clothes that suit her well, and is sitting silently. I'll just do something real quick. As I remember, we have choices coming up, and I have created a special tool to aid with this situation. I lose my voice at the figure.
Heck?
Sitting Japanese style with her back straight and eyes closed, Saber looks beautiful. Her state melting into the silence reminds me of pure water. And that removes the final doubts within me. Yep.
Oh, wait a minute. Isn't it weird that a English king would be sitting in Japanese style when meditating?
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe Nasu thought this was a very dignified look for her, which it is. And so he just thought
I
it
guess.
would be the right way to make it look like. It might be a localization thing, too. I mean, this is how nobles would have sat, right, in most situations in Japan. So.
Or maybe she's just being respectful.
Yeah, who knows? Even if she is a servant, I think she is holy. So I won't be led astray if I'm with her. I find it very interesting that
Oh boy.
Shiro...
Nasu's really wanting to Nasu's really wanting to debate us, eh?
Oh, yeah.
Eh?
He has such a friendlier relationship with Saber from the get-go in UBW when there isn't that friction. It's kind of interesting. I call out. Saber slowly opens her eyes and returns my gaze.
目が覚めたのですね、シロ。
A calm voice. Her voice echoing through the dojo as if permeating it is surprisingly suited to this place.
ああ、ついさっき目が覚めた。
体を休めていました。私にはシロの手当てはできませんから、今はせめて自身を万全にしておこうと思いまして。
Saber looks at me as she speaks. Well, I feel tension different from the kind I felt with Tosaka.
シロ、どうしました？やはり体
It's
がま
curious
だ。
because Saber also is in a much better condition than she was in Fate. Because she didn't get fucked by Berserker, right? She isn't injured like she was.
Yes.
So we won't have as much difficulty dealing with enemies in the beginning. On the other hand, we don't get
こっちも問題ない。
Saber
勝手に戸惑ってるだけだ
isolating
から。
herself
気に
sleeping
しな
all
いでくれ。
day because she doesn't need to, right? So she might be a little more pushy.
How the heck does in this part Saber get actually so isolated by everyone? I guess. Just thinking out loud. Moving on.
I take a step back and shake my head. Looking away from Saber, who's tilting her head questioningly, I calm my pounding heart.
何緊張してんだ、俺は。
Whammon. I take a deep breath, but it doesn't seem to die down quickly. In fact, I don't think it ever will.
なんだって着替えてるんだ、セイバーは。
I complain without meaning to. Saber's clothes are so real that they make me conscious of her womanhood, whether I like it or not. She is terribly beautiful. I thought I figured that out yesterday, but she really hits me with it now. Perhaps her armor looked so surreal that I didn't notice it yesterday. But if she dresses like a girl, I'm flustered as any healthy guy would be.
シロ、
I tense up the moment our eyes meet, but I didn't look for her just to say nothing. I'm troubled, but I can't stay quiet forever.
よし。いいかな、セイバー。こうやって落ち着いて話すのは初めてだけど。
I make up my mind and talk to her. And then,
シロ、話の前に昨夜の件について言っておきたいことがあり
oh,
ます。
there we go.
いいけど。
We're gonna get some
なんだよ
classic Saber.
話って。
ですから昨夜の件です。シロは私のマスターでしょう。そのあなたがあのような行動をしては困ります。
昨夜の話？
I think about what happened last night. Is she talking about the time I tried to pull her to safety when Archer attacked?
あれは仕方ないだろう。セイバーが体を張ってたんなら、せめてあれぐらいはしないと協力関係だなんて言えないじゃないか。
まさかあなたはまだサーバントの何たるかも知らないというのに、そこまで心を許していたのですか？
Oh wow, Saber looks really surprised.
だって握手しただろ。それにセイバー、何度も俺を助けてくれたじゃないか。これで信頼できないやつこそどうかしてる。
Saber looks up at me in surprise.
もしかして契約ってそういうことじゃないのか？
I get nervous, so I ask. Saber shakes her head.
サーバントとしてシロの言葉は喜ばしい。それにあの時止めてもらわなければ私も致命傷を負っていたでしょう。
そっか、よかった。つい夢中でやっちまったけど、あれはあれでよかったんだな。
はい。ですが今後はあのような行動は控えてください。 私は傷を負ってもマスターさえ健在ならすぐに回復できます。
分かった。気をつける。確かにあれは軽率だった。
You know, it's kind of funny.
次はもっとうまくやれ。
It's kind of funny to see this friendly side of Saber, where she's passively, you know, less incisive, and you know, she's a lot more approachable than she was last time, because she isn't, you know, being confronted directly. But it does feel somewhat distant in the sense that she isn't the different person.
More,
you know,
it feels more formal. Like it feels like she that was how she talked when she was a king.
Yeah, that's what I mean to say.
Degree.
Like, she is approachable and she's friendly, but she's still distant, right? She still doesn't. It feels like she isn't going anywhere in the sense of development, because she really isn't being prodded by Shido, right? So she's just existing in that comfort zone. It's kind of sad in that sense.
A partner and a gentleman to a certain degree.
Exactly. So it is kind of cool, and we'll see more of this. Saber really is less aggressive in UBW, but it's not because
I don't think she's less aggressive or less this or less that. She feels like less Saber.
Yeah, that's the thing, because we're not making her. She is not convinced to become human. We're not trying to make her human. It's not a human project, Saber.
Yeah, we're not seeing. Oh, better if I can put it in other words. We are not seeing Arturia. We are seeing King Arthur. We are seeing Saber.
Yeah, I'll agree with that. We're seeing Saber in her least person-like state.
Yeah, in her more Saber state.
Yeah. And that's fine in the sense that it's kind of cool to see her just like existing with Shido without fighting all the time and without all the drama. But on the other hand, it's pretty sad because there isn't any of that reclamation of her humanity that goes on in the Fate route.
Yeah. In the anime,
it feels more stable, but the end of the road, it's not a good one.
Yeah.
In the anime, that's the approach they were aiming for, but they cut so much material that it's just strange, and Saber doesn't feel like a character.
Yeah, I'll agree with that. Saber does feel
to a certain degree.
A bookmark.
You could argue that
more like a plot
that was sort of not only the author's intention, but the character's intention.
Yeah.
Saber, Merlin told her that if she pulled that sword, she would give up her humanity.
Exactly.
She would give up her sympathy, her empathy.
I mean, to be fair, also, I think it's good that we're kind of locked in the original version in the Ultimate Edition, and in Rialto Nui, you know, the basic form. We're locked to seeing UBW after the Fate route, because we have the context to understand that Saber isn't exactly like this. Or truth, she isn't like this. This is kind of her persona. When you're going straight into UBW, you don't have that context. And so the fact that she's acting like this and that Shido is having a nicer time with her because he doesn't care as much doesn't get translated.
It feels more bland.
Yeah, exactly. It just feels like they're hitting it off because they're friendly, which isn't it. And it gives a false idea of what and who Saber is. So that's one of the problems.
And ironically, the only part where Saber actually becomes a person is the part that has not been animated yet.
Yeah.
Yeah, but perhaps she is.
And just another comment. Sorry, Mapo. No. Ironically, because both UBW and Heaven's Feel have been adapted, when someone tries to adapt Fate Stay Night, people will probably say, "Oh, it's so basic. It's a basic read on Shiro. It's a basic read on Rin. It's a basic read on Archer. It's a basic read on Saber. It's a basic read on everyone."
That is definitely not it. That's why order is so important in this situation.
It feels like the first chapter in a book.
Yeah. That's why
Yeah,
reading it in
that's
order
pretty-
is important, because you clearly see the progression in all the characters over the meta narrative,
especially Shiro and Rin.
especially Shido and Rin. Yes, and
Saber
you have
doesn't
these
have-
and Saber. To be fair, Saber, you see this interesting play on her in UBW, which doesn't get much expanded on, but in Heaven's Feel, Saber's situation in Heaven's Feel is very particular,
Oh,
and it hits you pretty hard when you know.
Could you kindly elaborate, please?
No.
Zevlen?
Well, I'll say that in this, just like Heaven's Feel goes and hits Shido in the head and tries to deconstruct his argument, it goes and kind of does a little bit of that with Saber. It takes Saber to the logical extreme. Let's say that it takes Saber to the logical extreme of her character.
Considering how Saber is kind of in the same direction of Shiro,
Okay, I'll rephrase. It takes Saber to the logical extreme of the king. The king character who is a living weapon. And it's pretty heavy when you get to analyze that.
Let's just say that when Shiro said that he feels like if he's with Saber, he won't lose anything. Let's just say that it hits pretty hard when you have read Heaven's
we
Feel.
are going to see. I remember now Rin talking about how Saber is always talked about as the best of the classes.
Yeah.
Heaven's Feel is going to be that shown in action.
No.
Saber as the
It is going to be a
healing
deconstruction of the
weapon
shonen
that
action. We're going to see it. It's a deconstruction of Saber in the sense that deconstructing is looking at something and then trying to actually think it out in the logical and pessimistic sense. We're going to be deconstructing Saber.
Unless we watch the Heaven's Feel movies.
Yes, because those don't really do it very well. But we're going to see Saber embrace the king in a way we've never seen before. But that's for the future. I don't know how I can do things better. But I should stop doing things so recklessly. Then...
はい。いい返事です、マスター。
Was I acting that funny? I think she smiled for a second. I shake off my blush. There's something more important right now. It's something I should have asked her the moment we got back last night. That if she really is my servant, and if she really is going to be joining this battle...
話を戻すぞ、セイバー。いや、改めて聞くけど、お前のことはセイバーって呼んでいいのか？
はい。サーバントとして契約を交わした以上、私はシローの剣です。その命に従い、敵を撃ち、あなたを守る。
Saber says so without the slightest hesitation. There's no room for me to question her about it.
俺の剣になるか。それは聖杯戦争とやらに勝つためにか。
シローはそのために私を呼び出したのではないのですか？
違う。俺がお前を呼び出したのはただの偶然だ。セイバーも知ってる通り、俺は半人前の魔術師だからな。けど、戦うと決めたからには戦う。未熟なマスターだけど、セイバーはそれでいいのか？
もちろん。私のマスターはあなたです、シロー。これはどうあっても変わらない。サーバントにマスターを選ぶ自由はないのですから。
I see. And I should try to respond to her to the best of my ability.
わかった。それじゃあ、俺はお前のマスターでいいんだな。
ええ。ですがシロー。私のマスターに敗北は許さない。あなたに勝算がなければ私が作る。可能であるすべての手段を用いて、あなたには聖杯を手に入れてもらいます。私たちサーバントは無償であなたたちマスターに仕えるのではない。私たちも聖杯を欲するがゆえに。
ちょっと待った。聖杯が欲しいって、セイバーも
Wait a minute. Now I'm thinking of something that's. What was I really thinking?
Okay, I'm gonna say that this is really a shift on the tone
Yeah.
of the previous route, because shit, things are now much more serious.
Yeah.
And Saber is like acting like a real fighter in here right now.
No, yeah, she really hasn't.
So-
She keeps on that king image, just like Boomer was talking about. She is embracing the living weapon here, and because she has the condition to win, she hasn't been weakened. They aren't in a bad situation. They aren't cooperating with Tosaka. Shiro doesn't have
Zevlen,
a safety net.
Zevlen, can you show some of the previous comments? I remembered I saw something and I was thinking of something. Can you please? Oh yeah, now I remember what I thought of. Because Saber has been Saber in every single Holy Grail War, right?
Yes. I mean,
And
not
Ring,
necessarily,
the Saber.
but yes.
Hmm.
But let's-
Why not necessarily, and why yes anyway?
She has every Grail War she has been summoned to. She has been Saber. I won't say she's been Saber in every Grail War, because according to Hollow Ataraxia, in the third war, it might not have been possible for Saber to have been summoned. I will try not to spoil that, but
Okay, so every single time there was a Saber, it was Arturia, put in
Possibly.
in those words.
possibly.
Possibly or certainly.
The way that they say it
Because-
in the Fate route, yes. It can be questioned because of a character's comment in Hollow Ataraxia, but I don't think it's a deal breaker in that sense. It is certainly implied that she's been doing this for a long time. Yeah.
So let's just say that in the Fate Stay Night universe, Saber has been always Saber.
Yes.
Okay, so then how has she lost every single Holy Grail War and Ren still considers Saber the best class?
She's strong. A lot of these wars were
But
lost.
she loses.
A lot of these wars were
But
lost
she lo-
due to bad circumstances. Let's just put it like that.
What bad circumstances? In every
We'll
single
get
Holy
into
Grail
it.
War?
We'll see it later in Heaven's Field
Wait,
and in
we
Hollow.
will see. Wait, what? We will see
We will
more
be
about
talked
the previous
about.
Holy Grail War.
The previous wars will be a topic that will be seriously focused on in Heaven's Field and massively focused on in Hollow Ataraxia. We will see a great panorama of why they were complete shit shows, and they were never as planned. So
And this one was as it was planned.
this
or
was
not?
definitely not as planned. I mean,
Worse
don't you
one.
remember the
Wait
end
a
of the
minute.
last time around?
Oh, it was planned.
This
Remember Gilgamesh?
This war is completely fucked. It started 50 years early because the last time some Kiritsugu ordered the destruction of the Lesser Grail when it was already full. Fucking Gilgamesh is still around even though he wasn't summoned by anybody. The mediator is also a master. There's shit that we don't even know of that's going on. It's really weird. There's Saber, who's not actually a servant. There's other shit that we don't know of yet. It's just not normal. The problem is that the system is a fucking joke. It's awful. There's so many problems with it every time they try it. It's bound to fail, really. And it's good that it's bound to fail, because if someone wins this garbage, it's gonna be awful. We've come to that conclusion already from our conversation with Kira
Wait a
last
minute,
time.
so no one wins it to a certain degree?
No one has won yet.
Wow. Every single time a person loses.
Outside of the last time around, where Kide supposedly caused the
Won.
fire.
So wait a
Actually-
minute. can we make the so in the 16th night situation, the Holy Grail War has been pretty much a draw every single time,
Yes.
except once,
There is
then it was destroyed.
There is actually a reason why you can't win it, but I won't say that because I think they explore it in Heaven's Field, and I don't want to spoil it. It's a pretty big revelation, so I won't get into detail about it.
And technically, Shiro was the winner of the last war in the previous run.
Yes. The only time, I'll put it like this, just for the sake of clarity, the only winnable war to now has been the 5th, the one that we're in. That's the only one that, technically speaking, can be won. The Grail can be taken only in this current one. Well, we'll see more details about that later.
And because the mediator wants to win.
Well, there's reasons for that. I'm pretty sure they'll talk about it in Heaven's Field. They talk about it in Zero, but that's another thing.
Just a comment. Zero is only an anime?
No, it's a book. I mean, there's the anime, but there's also the book. The book has been translated. If you want to give it a read, it's pretty good.
Oh, a book, not a light novel.
No, it's a light novel, as in it's a book. It's not a visual novel. It's a light novel. It's a series of light
okay,
novels.
fair enough. Okay, now I understood. Sorry. I was
It's fine.
confusing the term.
I'll just let that be on the screen for a little bit. I see. Now that she says it, it's obvious something like a heroic spirit would never obey a mere human being. Since they have their own their own objectives, they serve the master in exchange. And that means Saber has a wish she wants granted. That is why Saber has no doubts. But
また、セイバー。可能であるすべての手段と言ったな。それは勝つためには手段を選ばないってことか。例えば。
doing something like what the priest said, involving innocent people and creating a disaster like what happened 10 years ago.
シロ、それは可能である手段ではありません。私は私が許す行為しかできない。自分を裏切ることは私には不可能です。ですが、マスターが命じるのであれば従うしかありません。その場合、私に踏み入る代償として、その刻印を一ついただくことになりますが。
I am overwhelmed by her angry voice. But still, I'm happy and relieved. Her lack of doubt gave her the image of a cold fighting machine, but I know now that she is not a cold-blooded killer.
そんなことは絶対にさせない。セイバーの言う通り、俺たちはできる範囲で何とかするしかないからな。本当にすまなかった。知らずにお前を侮辱しちまった。
いえ、私もマスターの意図がつかめずに早合点してしまいました。シローは悪くないのですから顔を上げてくれませんか。
思わず謝ってた。
I raise my head. I don't know what's so funny, but Saber has a small smile on her face. Well, I'm glad she's smiling, so I won't ask her about it.
それじゃあもう一つ聞いていいか。マスターっていうのはサーバントを召喚する魔術師のことだよな。それはいいんだけど、セイバーたちのことが俺にはまだよくわからない。セイバーとかランサーとかどうも本名じゃないのはわかるんだが。
No way. There was a...
ええ、私たちの呼び名は役割ごとにつけられた呼称に過ぎません。私たちサーバントは英霊です。それぞれが自分の生きた時代で名を馳せたか、あるいは人の身に余る偉業を成し遂げた者たち。どのような手段であれ、一個人の力だけで神域まで上り詰めた存在です。
That doesn't even need to be said. Heroic spirits are heroes that had supernatural abilities while they were alive, who were worshipped after their deaths, and are promoted into the ranks of spirits instead of becoming ghosts.
ですが、それは同時に短所でもあります。私たちは英霊であるがゆえに その弱点を記録に残している。名を明かす。正体を明かすということはその弱点をさらけ出すことになります。敵が下位の精霊ならば問題になりませんが、私たちはお互いが必殺の力を持つ英霊です。弱点を知られればまず間違いなくそこを突かれ敗北する。
そうか。英雄ってのは大抵何らかの苦手な相手があるもんな。だからセイバーなんて呼び名で本当の名前を隠しているのか。
はい。もっとも私がセイバーと呼ばれるのは、聖杯に招かれたサーバントは7人いますが、その全てがそれぞれクラスに応じて選ばれているのです。
クラス？そのセイバーとかアーチャーとか？
そうです。元より英霊を丸ごと召喚するということ自体が奇跡に近い。その解決のため聖杯はあらかじめ7つの器を用意し、その器に適合する英霊だけを呼び寄せた。それが7つの役割。セイバー、ランサー、アーチャー、ライダー、キャスター、アサシン、バーサーカー。聖杯は役割に該当する能力を持った英霊をあらゆる時代から招き寄せる。そうしてクラスという殻をかぶった者がサーバントと呼ばれるのです。
なるほど。じゃあセイバーは剣に優れた英霊だからセイバーとして呼ばれたってことか。
はい。属性を複数持つ英霊もいますが、こと剣に関しては私の右に出る者はいないと自負しています。もっともそれがセイバーの欠点でもある。私は魔術師ではありませんから、マスターの剣となって敵を撃つことしかできない。
剣謀術数には向かないってことだな。いや、それは欠点じゃないと思うけど、セイバーはあんなに強いんだからもうそれだけで十分だろう。
シロ、戦闘で強いだけではこの戦いは勝ち抜けません。例えばの話ですが、敵が自身より白兵戦で優れている場合、あなたならどうしますか？
いや、そうだな。正面から戦っても勝てないって分かってるなら。
Having said that much, I understand. If the enemies are strong, you wouldn't fight a proper battle. Beating opponents with your sword isn't the only way to fight. If you can't beat an enemy with your sword, all you have to do is beat them some other way.
そういうことです。白兵戦で優れていると相手に知られた場合、相手はまず白兵戦など仕掛けてこないでしょう。アサシンのサーバントは能力こそ低いですが、気配を隠すという能力がありますし、キャスターのサーバントはこの時代にない魔術に精通している。単純な戦力差だけで楽観はできません。
It's ironic that the
私た
assassin
ちには
is
宝具がある。
always is
どのような
supposed
サー
to
バント
be
であ
able
れ、
to
英霊
hide
である
really
以上
well,
は必
but
殺の
in
機会
this
を持って
war,
いるの
the
です。
assassin of this time is said to be just in a specific place during practically the entirety of the war.
Yep. That's gonna come.
And
It feels
he-
ironic that the class that was supposed to be capable of hiding itself needs to pretty much stay in a place which will eventually be found and will not be permitted to get out of there.
Yep.
The funny thing is actually that he doesn't give a shit. Saber in the previous route, Saber asked, "Who are you?" And he just Sasaki Kojiro, assassin class. Nice to meet you.
Yeah, he doesn't give a fuck.
I
I
love
love that
assassin.
detachment of his. He just doesn't care. I don't know. Maybe his master is an asshole, and they're using him in a way that he doesn't agree with, for whatever reason.
Maybe
And he's
maybe
just like,
we'll
fuck it.
find out.
Kind of like Ryder.
Maybe we will find this out in the streets.
Who knows?
Who knows?
That's not a term I've heard before. I think I might know what it means from the sound of it, though.
宝具とはサーバントが持つ特別な武具のことです。ランサーの槍やアーチャーの弓、それに私の剣などが該当します。英雄とはそれ単体で英雄とは呼ばれません。 彼らはシンボルとなる武具を持つがゆえにヒーローとして特化している。英雄とその武装は一つなのです。ゆえに英霊となった者たちはそれぞれが強力な武具を携えています。それが宝具、サーバントたちの切り札であり、私たちが最も警戒すべきものです。
Saber says that noble phantasms are weapons that heroes wielded when they were alive. I recall that Blue Knight, the lance that absorbed magical energy from the air and pierced Saber's chest with incredible movement. That was certainly not something fit for humans. That lance itself carried a strong curse, but I also felt an overwhelming amount of magical energy in the word Lancer said back then. Then could it be?
Saber, 宝具ってのは魔術なのか。確かにランサーの槍は曰くありげな槍だったけど、それ自体は槍っていう領域から出てなかっただろう。けどあいつの言葉であの槍は武器の領域から逸脱した。それって魔術の類じゃないのか。
ええ、確かに宝具は魔術に近い。例えばランサーの槍です。彼の槍はそれ自体が宝具ではありますが、その進化を発揮するのは魔力を注ぎ込み、その神明を口にした時だけです。宝具とはある意味形になった神秘ですから、魔術の発現に栄唱が必要なように、宝具の発動にも栄唱、神明による覚醒が必要になる。ですがこれにも危険はあります。宝具の神明を口にすれば、そのサーバントの正体が分かってしまう。
そっか、英雄と武器はセットだもんな。持ってる武器の名前が分かれば、おのずと持ち主の正体も知れる。
Saber nods silently. That is why the Noble Phantasm is a trump card. In exchange for revealing the name, it launches an unavoidable fatal blow. But when it does not prove fatal, the servant will expose all its weaknesses.
それじゃあセイバー、お前の宝具はあの見えない剣なのか。
そうですね。ですがあれはまだ正体を明かしていません。今の状態で私の神明を知るサーバントはいないでしょう。
Saying that, Saber looks down awkwardly for a second.
シロ、その件についてお願いがあります。
お願いってどんな？
私の神明のことです。本来サーバントはマスターにのみ神明を明かし、今後の対策を練ります。ですがシローは魔術師として未熟です。優れた魔術師ならばシローの思考を読むことも可能でしょう。
ああ、名前は明かせないってことか。
Wait a minute.
確かにその
Is
通りだ。
that real or is she just BSing him not give her the identity?
No, she's BSing him.
喋りかねないし。
But it is problematic. It is a real situation that he could be mind controlled into telling whoever
Wow.
that she's who she is. So.
よし、そうしよう。セイバーの宝具の使いどころはセイバー自身の判断に任せる。
本当にそんなにあっさりと。
あっさりじゃないぞ。ちゃんと考えて納得したんだ。考えた末の合意だから気にすんな。
You see, in the anime, we don't see him thinking about it. But, well, I got most of the stuff, but I still don't have a grasp of the situation. This is strange now that I think about it. Even though I've decided to fight, the only enemy I know is Tosaka, and I don't intend to fight her. Well, I shouldn't be thinking like that because Tosaka is ready to fight me any day.
なあ、セイバー、マスターやサーバントってなんか目印はないのか。このままじゃどうも勝手がわからないんだが。
いいえ、残念ながら明確な判別方法はありません。
I mean, there's the command spell.
ただ、近くにいるのならサーバントはサーバントの気配を察知できます。それが実体化しているのならなおさらです。サーバントはそれ自体が強力な魔力ですから、シローもバーサーカーの気配は感じ取れたでしょう。
Is what she says is a characteristic of the Holy Grail War exclusively or of Megai's interaction?
No, Magi can feel other magi generally.
Generally?
Yeah, they can faintly feel. I mean, they can feel magic around. Generally, they try to hide their presence with magic, but if they aren't actively doing that, then they can faintly feel the presence of another magus.
But
you can definitely feel. Yeah, Shido just isn't very proficient, but they can definitely feel their hand hurt in the Grail War, because their command spell reacts to other command spells. So if they were to be next to another master, their hand would hurt. Their command spell.
Yeah, because there is a lot of characters. No, there's a lot of characters who were magi, and that Rin, for example, didn't knew. Just for an example.
Well, yeah. You're talking about Shinji?
I think he's talking about how Rin didn't know that Shido was a magus, but Shido doesn't. He uses
Shinji too?
Shinji isn't a magus though.
Yeah, but
he uses the book as his command spell. Remember, he doesn't have any actual circuits.
Yeah, I know about that, but she couldn't tell that he was a master.
Well, because he didn't have a command spell.
Yeah, exactly.
Shido, she couldn't tell Shido was a magus because he didn't use his magic much in the beginning, and because he didn't really activate his circuits at all. So I guess there's that. And then also, immediately after he got his command spell, they met, so there wouldn't be a chance for her to know. And they kind of stopped going to school shortly after that, so.
Okay, makes some sense.
Yeah.
I guess. Moving on.
Usually the detection comes in with servants feeling other servants, because that's a lot more efficient.
Oh yeah, and there's probably more magic to actually be found.
Oh yeah.
But anyway.
They're actually big beacons as opposed to being tiny specks. And different from most magi, they can't hide their presence unless they're assassin. So. After all, I didn't even realize the real identity of Tosaka, who goes to the same school as I do. We were in the same building for 2 years, and on top of that, I've seen her several times. I sigh. And then? Saber speaks with a serious face.
Slap his face.
I close my eyes. Feel something slightly touching my forehead. Hey, it's prickling. Could this be the end of her sword?
Saber, ちょっと待て。なんか変なことしてないか。
マスター、黙って私の指先に意識を集中してください。あなたも魔術師なら、それでこちらの魔力を感じ取れるでしょう。
I see, so it's Saber's finger that's touching me. I pull myself together and calm down. Then, what is this?
Saber.
See, it's different. In the Fate route, it's Tosaka that does all this explanation, and she gives us the book with the status screen. Here it's Saber that activates the status screen in our brains.
何度ではありません。あなたと私は契約によってつながっているのですから、私の状態は把握できて当然です。
把握って今のが？
どのような形で把握したのかは知りません。サーバントの能力を測るのはあくまで素人が見る基準です。つまり個人差はあれど、本人にとって最も判別しやすい捉え方をする。これはマスターとしての基本ですから。今後は頻繁に確かめてください。私と同様、一度見た相手ならば、その詳細が理解できているはずですから。
It would be pretty damn useful if we could do that in real life with people.
I agree. I see. I was a bit surprised since it was so sudden, but I might be able to act a bit like a master now.
マスター
Act like a little bit of a
私
master
にでき
now.
る説明は以上です。
ああ、駆け足だけど合点がいった。すまなかったな、セイバー。
すまなかったではありません。状況が分かったのなら、これからどうするかを決めるべきではないですか。
She asks me, leaning forward. I see. Saber's the same type as Tosaka, attack first.
いや、どうするも何も別段変わったことはしないぞ。トーサカみたいに自分から他のマスターを倒しに行くなんて気はないからな。
シロ、それでは話が違う。
There
あ
you
なたは
go.
マスターとして、
Saber narrows her eyes. They are calm eyes of a swordsman who allows no disagreement. I stare back, trying not to lose and clearly tell her my intention.
まあ、ある。けどそれは悪いやつに渡らないようにしたいからだ。俺には自分から聖杯が欲しいっていう理由はない。けど、それは戦わないって意味じゃないぞ。見習いだけど俺は魔術師だ。自分が後戻りできない場所にいることぐらい理解してる。無傷で何もしないままじゃ生き残れないってことは分かってる。
では魔術師として避けられない戦い、つまり聖杯を手に入れるためではなく、聖杯による争いを防ぐために
Fighting
戦
to
うと
prevent
いうのですか。
conflict. The most logical and not hypocritical at all ideology possible.
まあ、そういうことになるのか。そうだな。
The USA approves that comment.
There you
う
go.
まく言葉にできないけど、そういう戦いになら価値があるだろう。
That's right. I don't feel anything toward the Grail, but for a reason like that, I think I can fight with all my power and with pride.
わからない。シロは魔術師だという。ならば万能である聖杯を欲するはずです。自分では叶えられない望みがあるからこそ、魔術師は魔術を極めるのではないのですか。
何言ってるんだ。叶えられない望みなんて持ってないぞ、俺。
That's right. So for now, I should try my hardest not to involve any unnecessary people.
それではシロは聖杯がいらないというのですか。聖杯のためには戦わないと。
そうは言ってないだろう。戦うからには聖杯は手に入れるつもりだぞ。
それこそ矛盾している。あなたには必要がないものをなぜ戦ってまで欲するというのです。
Well, because winning means obtaining the Holy Grail, and most of all,
セイバーには必要なんだろ。なら必ず手に入れなくちゃ。ああ、他のマスターがどんなやつかは知らない。もしかすると中にはすごくいいやつだっているかもしれない。けど俺はセイバーの味方をするって決めたんだ。そのセイバーが聖杯を手に入れたいっていうなら最大限手を貸すのは当たり前だろ。その親父の受け売りなんだけどな。正義の味方になるんだったらエゴイストになれって。誰にも彼にも味方なんてしてたら意味がないんだから、自分が信用できる、自分が好きな相手だけの味方をしなくちゃダメだって。今までそうは思えなかったけど、今はそう考えるべきだと思う。俺は自分のために戦うなんてのはできない。けどセイバーのために戦うんならそれがいい。
and to be honest, if this girl seriously yearns for it, it's only natural to want to obtain it for her. Well, I am a guy, you know.
では
Little does Shiro know that
私は
he's
聖杯
committing
を
the
諦め
worst
れば
mistake of
戦わないとい
Saber's
うので
life
すか。
for her.
あなたは。
Ooh, Zevlen.
Yeah.
You see the parallel,
Which one?
you know, between what Shiro just said and what another master said
Oh,
to his servant.
oh.
A relation that we will see a lot in this book.
Oh boy. Okay. Yeah.
Something said in Hollow Ataraxia, actually.
Yep.
What? Would you
We'll
kindly
we'll
elaborate?
get back to that when we reach that
Hold,
part.
hold that
of this
thought.
book.
Hold
Don't
that thought.
worry.
That's a
Okay,
problem.
I'll hold it.
If Saber says that, all my premises will crumble.
いや、それでも同じだ。 一度戦うと言ったんだ。だから逃げない。これは絶対だ、セイバー。
I declare while looking at her in the eyes. Saber does not answer immediately, but looks up at me after letting out a deep breath.
わかりました。マスターであるあなたがそう言うのなら、私は従うだけです。ですが、シロ。
Saber stops, with eyes that seem to be gazing upon something far away.
私にはうまく言えないのですが、それではシロは後悔する。きっと後悔することになる。
She says those words. I mean, Saber will certainly regret it. I mean, she won't, because she's that kind of person, but Shiro has just consigned himself to working her dream out into reality. And we sadly know that her dream is awful. So, we've skipped breakfast and it's noon already, so we decide to eat lunch. Saber can't turn into a spirit like Archer, and I'm not sending her magical energy like all the other masters are doing. It doesn't need to be said that this is because I'm an unskilled master, but it seems she can sleep to stop consuming magical energy, but doing so doesn't replenish it. So food will be her only source of energy, and I'm in charge of cooking, so I can't be lazy about it.
サーバントは魔力で実体化しているんだろ。それじゃあセイバーの魔力は回復しないんだから、戦っていけばいくほど弱っていくのか。
I ask her after cleaning up our meal.
全く回復しないというわけではありません。魔力というものは活動しているうちは絶え間なく生成されるものです。自然からの供給がないサーバントでも自身の魔術回路だけで少なからず魔力を補充することができます。
We've been there before.
なんだ、なら問題はないんじゃないのか。
さて、どう説明したものか。そうですね。そこの水道を例えにしましょう。今蛇口から水滴がこぼれていますね。それが私自身の魔力生成量だと思ってください。そしてその水滴を受け止めているグラスが私自身です。今の状態なら少しずつではありますが、さてこのこぼれている水ですが、これはグラスが重ければ重いほど蛇口の線が開かれていくのです。私はグラスに水が入っている限り蛇口から水を出し続けます。けれどグラスの水がなくなった時、つまりグラスに溜まった魔力を使い切った時、そうなれば水の供給はなくなり、グラスはずっと乾いたままでしょう。それがサーバントにとっての消滅です。肉体を維持できぬほどの傷を負うか、自身を保つほどの魔力を維持できなくなるか。
けどグラスに一滴でも水が残っていればいいんだろ。少しでも
そうですね。ですがこのグラスに溜まった水は常に失われていくのです。水はこうしている間にも使われていますし、戦闘となればその消費量はさらに勢いを増す。逆に言えば強力な行動ほど水を多く消費するのです。私の宝具を使用するのならば、グラスに水が満ちていようと一瞬で空になる危険もある。
This is getting complicated now. To sum it up, as I, her faucet, am not giving her magical energy, she can only restore magical energy at a slow pace, the rate being just that of dripping water. Therefore, she should end battles as quickly as she can and sleep right after that to stop consuming any unnecessary magical energy.
それじゃあ宝具を使うなんてのはとんでもない贅沢ってことか。
Certainly does look like that.
そうですね。ですが使えないということはありません。威力を抑えれば一度ぐらいは可能でしょう。
何言ってんだ。そんなことさせられるか。セイバー、宝具を使うのは禁止だぞ。そんなんで死なれたりしたらどう謝っていいかわからない。
I placed the tea in front of Saber. She frowns and reaches for the tea. Then, the phone rings.
日曜日、この時間にうちにかかってくるって。
I have an all too good idea as to who it may be, but I'm scared by the consequences of ignoring the call. Yeah? Were you gonna say something?
No, I was just trying to guess.
I think we know who it is.
はい、もしもし、エミヤですけど。
はーい、もしもし、藤村です。
Ah, that beautiful voice. I feel dizzy. She is the strongest in that regard. She simply discards all the chaotic events that happened since last night, and I feel like it's just a normal day.
なんだよ。断っておくけど、俺は暇じゃないぞ、藤根。
何よ。
Oh my
私だって
god.
暇じゃないわよ。
She has a
今日も
hologram.
京都でおやつに返上してお
She
仕事の
has
面倒を見てるんだから。
she exists in an immaterial realm and is just there to give Shiro a good spank.
It sure is strange.
Verbally at least.
I feel like Fujin is right in front of me, puffing with pride.
そうか。なら世間話をしている場合じゃないな。こっちには火事も泥棒もサーカスも来てないから、安心して部活動に励んでくれ。
I try to cut off our conversation.
ちょっと待った。恥をしのいでお姉ちゃんが電話してるっていうのに、要件も聞かずに切ったら大変なんだから。
I've been in trouble since last night, but it won't do any good to tell her that. Well, I guess she's in a little trouble right now, too.
はいよ。で、要件は何？
シロ、私お弁当が食べたいな。シロ。以上、注文終わり。至急弓道部まで届けられたし、勝ち。
Oh no! Oh no! I know 3 people, maybe 4, that usually go to the archery range. Oh no!
Jeez, what's up with that
Oh
teacher?
no!
たくしょうがねえよな。猛獣ってハーヘルが暴れる
Well,
っていうし。
we didn't saw Shinji until now, so we'll get a funny scene.
Thankfully,
Let's go.
yeah, thankfully the call that we got wasn't the call that we got from Shinji last time. Hey, Amiya, you want to come around for me to kill everybody? I put on the apron I just took off.
It would be pretty funny if some form of FBI was watching that that conversation and just decided to put a bunch of cops outside of the house.
Yeah.
And then they all got killed by a rider or something.
Oh yeah, we go to school, we hand the lunch to Fujin and then we make an alliance to Shinji. Yeah, I
Yeah,
forgot about
definitely.
that
We
part.
make that. We make
yeah,
that alliance with
absolutely.
Shinji. Well, we have leftovers from lunch,
Absolutely.
and the omelet will be easy to make. Omoraisu.
よし、できた。
Go.
セイバー、ちょっと留守番頼む。
No.
すぐに戻ってくるから待っててくれ。
I carry Fujina's boxed lunch and go out into the hallway. Saber follows me for some reason. Literally just no.
Nope.
I put on my shoes. When I look next to me, Saber's there putting her own shoes on.
セイバ
I call out to her timidly.
I really want to find what sort of excuse will Shiro give to Fujine to why there is a girl following him around?
Well, I know what she's going to say, but I
What
have to
will
ask her.
be?
ー、その
We're gonna find it out soon.
外出するのなら同伴します。サーバントはマスターを守るものですから。シロを一人で外を歩かせるなど危険です。
I thought so. Well, this is something I have to tell her eventually. This is a good time, so I'll tell her now.
セイバー、マスターってのは人目につくことを避けるんだろ？なら昼間は安全だよ。人気のない場所に行かない限り、あっちから仕掛けてくることはない。
それは承知
Oh
しています。
boy. Oh boy.
Listen,
You
Mama,
seriously don't have any idea.
シロはまだ
Wait a
未熟
few
ですか
a
ら。
few more days and
四六
Shinji
時
will
中
give you
共
a
にいな
call.
ければならないでしょう。
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
Does she mean she'll be with me all the time?
バカ、そんなことできるわけないだろ。大体な、ずっと一緒にいるって、それじゃ寝るときはどうする
Right
んだ
there,
よ。
bro.
シロは私を試しているのですか。睡眠中など最も警護すべき対象です。当然、シロのそばで私も待機しますが。
Shido's having a fucking
When you sleep.
convulsion. I hide my blushing face and take a huge breath to calm myself down.
You
Damn,
can
how
just
stupid.
imagine What Shiro's thinking right now of be on alert all times.
I finally realized this important fact. This is what it means to fight alongside her.
シロ、どうしたのです。そこまで驚くことはないでしょう。昨夜リンが行ったことを私がするだけの話ではないですか。
Don't kid me, I'll go crazy before I even fight if you do that.
ダメだそんなの。セイバーにはちゃんと部屋を用意するから。
I mean, you could get some steam off you and some magical energies to see.
Don't give in even if you look at me like that.
シロ、いい加減にしてほしい。大抵の矛盾は我慢してきましたが、これは譲歩できない。あなたの方針はマスターとして間違いだらけだ。
I'm a stupid man. Saber looks up at me. She's putting pressure on me, but I stare back at her.
理由なんてない。いいからおとなしくしてろって言ってるんだ。今は大丈夫なんだから。
We literally started chatting with a master we found somewhere, and we were like, "Hey, master, hey, other master, how you doing? You come here alone? Yeah, you come here all the time? Yeah, I meet you. Yeah, let's have a little chat. Oh yeah, where's your servant? Oh, he's there. Oh well, really nice. Mine's there.
I just want to know what is Shiro actually doing, because it's not like he's a straight A student, you know?
I know.
断ります。
Oh, Shiro.
明確な理由を聞かなければ私も引き下がれない。
Taiga断る。
わかんないやつだな。セイバーは女の子なんだから。
Oh yeah, I forgot. Oh no, wait, that's not actually bit. It's just correct. I mean, I don't know.
ともかく
Have faith.
帰ってきたら部屋を用意するから、それまで休んでいてくれ。
Okay, Zevlen and Mapo Tofu. Do you think Shiro was right when he said that girls should not sleep with boys in the same room?
I don't know.
It depends.
It depends on their relationship, I guess.
I guess. And in the scenario that they're not dating, because then that's just something else entirely.
Or if they're siblings.
I mean, if they're siblings, it's fine. If they're random people, I don't know. I'm not sure I would be super comfortable as an adult sleeping in the same room as a woman, as like a random woman.
Unless
and
they're
as a
fighting
teenager, like back when I was at my most hormonally active, it would have been very weird.
Horny mode on.
Yes.
You know, unless these two people are trying to fight two angels that are synchronized, you know.
Oh my god.
It would be pretty weird.
Yeah, it's not. It's kind of. I don't know. I'm not gonna say it's categorically bad, but it's like it can be very weird. I feel like it's a little too intimate, and that's the point that they're trying to make here, is that Saber doesn't think in those terms because she's still, you know, king practicality over all, utilitarianism.
Yeah, fair enough. That's not a Shiro-based moment. That is just
Shiro
a moment.
Wanting to be private moment. Man, this is pathetic, but I'm running away, and I'm doing it in front of my opponent too. He just fucking runs away. Screw it. I run outside and slap my blushing face. Well, anyway.
That would be a funny scene in the anime. Shiro running to a direction and Saber quietly running behind him.
Saber should understand.
That actually happens.
It does happen, yeah, it's true. Saber should understand since I told her so firmly. I'll apologize for yelling at her after I come home. I go down the hill. It takes about 30 minutes to get to school on foot. I don't have to hurry, but I'm walking quickly right now. The reason being... She's right there.
No.
The girl walking silently behind me. She'll follow me to school if I don't do anything. I have to clearly tell her right here.
Saber, 家で待っていてくれって言っただろ?
There would be a funny situation if Hill decided to try and lose Saber in the city, like running around or something like that. And then he's close to the phone, and he looks behind and it's just her there.
Go.
Wait, how you lost me? No, buddy, I can sense you. You stupid master.
I stop and
She actually.
yeah, go ahead.
Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead.
No. Go ahead. It was just a joke.
I stop and turn to her. After glaring at me,
さあ、サーバントがマスターの指示に従わないということは、おそらく聞こえなかったのでしょう。
passive-aggressive Saber, god damn. She turns
In
away
a
from
very
me.
more elegant manner. She is a king now,
This is the
after all.
tsundere roots.
This is the tsundere route, yes. I ignore Saber and go down the hill. Behind me, she is there silently putting pressure on me.
いい加減戻れ。これ以上ついてこられると迷惑だって。はっきり言わなくちゃわからないのか？
Very mature, Shido. I glare at the girl who is walking exactly 5 meters behind me.
Exactly.
I don't know what her problem is, but I'm just met with silent defiance. Jeez. I have no idea what she's so mad about, but I'm sure she's just obstinate.
そうかよ。じゃあ好きにしろ。
I ignore Saber and walk on.
I can just imagine Issei appearing out of nowhere and just having a conversation.
Oh yeah. I go up the hill leading to the school. This town has lots of hills, but this one is especially long. The school on top of the hill is high enough to be able to see everything in this town. It's a bit past 1 o'clock. Fortunately, I don't see any students around. It's Sunday, so I bet most people in the clubs are still resting after eating their lunch.
ついてるって言えばついてるけどな。さすがにここから先は無理だ。
I sigh and give up. I turn around, and Saber's still there. When I stop, Saber comes up to me and glares. She looks even more angry as I've been ignoring her this whole time.
セイバー。
なんでしょう。好きにしていいということでしたが。
都合のいいことだけ聞くんだな、お前は。
当然です。私はサーバントです
Of
から。
course!
ミスミスマスターを危
Of
険にさらす
course!
わけ
Of
にはいきま
course!
せ
I'm
ん。
going to...
わかった。俺の負けだ。諦めたから一緒に学校まで行こう。そうすればお前だって学校が安全だってわかるだろうしさ。それと
Has Shiro seriously not actually thought of how he's going to say to Taiga and everyone else why he has a girl with that no one saw until now going to school with him?
Maybe he'll do it like he did last time and just say she's a relative of
You
Kiritsugu.
know, we're kind of related, you know?
Kind of related. A
Was the
Japanese
implication,
and
I
a
always
British
wondered,
girl.
I always wondered if the implication was that Shiro was trying to say that Saber was the illegitimate child of Kiritsugu that he had with some woman in
One of the illegitimate childs of Kiritsugu. There's probably actually legitimate childs of Kiritsugu running around in the world.
I don't know if anyone got
Doing
that
little
other
magic.
than me, but I always felt that that's what he was trying to get at with that story. Because it's so far-fetched and weird. I don't know.
And you know, you know this
Probably
travel-
to everyone else but Taiga, but the fact that Taiga understands clearly what he's actually talking about.
No, really, imagine it. Like, Shiro tries to convince Taiga that Saber is a relative of Kiritsugu's, but Taiga is aware of those travels that Kiritsugu did when he was still alive. So maybe, this is just my theory, but maybe Taiga, now everything makes sense because now Taiga might think that those travels, Kiritsugu was actually seeing his other adopted child,
Yeah,
Saber.
exactly. Or maybe he was visiting his beautiful European family where he had Saber with some
Beautiful
woman.
European.
He's like, oh,
Beautiful
that's why he
European
traveled so
family.
much. I see.
Actually, you know, like Kiritsugu really likes cups.
Yeah.
Went to Europe to see very special cup.
Oh yeah, definitely.
So, wait a minute. In the eyes of Tiger, Saber is the stepsister of Jesus.
I'm not saying that. I'm saying that might be the implication of Shido's story. I would go with that. That's a pretty cool cover story.
The fact that there is a possibility of a scenario where we could have, even in the imagination of Taiga, a moment in which Saber calls Shiro her stepbrother.
It would be pretty funny.
Yeah. Especially knowing the quantities of hentai of fate.
You're a relative of my
say
father.
That word? We can say that word in YouTube, or are we going to die?
I woke up the hill with Saber.
Zevlen.
Yes.
Oh yeah, she knows Kiritsugu.
If only Taiga knew about all the technically
She knows
siblings
Kiritsugu.
of Shiro.
Oh yeah, no, if she had any awareness.
よし、それじゃあ決まりだ。そうだな。どうせ遅かれ早かれ顔合わせはするんだか
I
ら。
don't know how you come up with this shit. Like, if this isn't the cover story, I don't know what it is. Like, oh yeah, Kiritsugu had this blonde, green-eyed, white-skinned relative from England. She was actually his relative, like his blood relative. Kiritsugu, this very Japanese man.
Yeah, it was his daughter.
No, not even his daughter, just his relative. You know, he's like, oh yeah, she's like the second cousin of my dad. It's like, what? No fucking way.
No. No, wait a minute. I thought the excuse was it was an illegitimate child, or
No,
I don't know.
I'm saying that in the book, he says that the excuse is that Saber is Kiritsugu's relative. I'm saying that I always thought that the implication of that was that Shiro was trying to convince Taiga that Saber was Kiritsugu's daughter. But he doesn't actually say that.
If it is not that, it doesn't make any actual sense. But anyway,
that's what I'm
They could
saying.
be cousins.
I'm like, how can Saber be the cousin of Kiritsugu when she's from England and extremely white? That's what I'm trying to get at. It's like a terrible cover story.
You know.
But to be fair, it is Fujine that we're talking about, so.
so unexpected to a certain degree.
Maybe he'll say that Kiritsugu's
what is it
grandfather.
called?
聞き忘れてたけど
Who knows?
その服どうしたんだ
Grandfather.
What is it called? Like second degree cousin?
Yeah. I don't know, maybe that would work. Like, his grandfather was married to a white woman, and then that's the relation, like her family.
Oh boy, I'm just
Tangentially
imagining Taiga. I'm just imagining Taiga and Shiro going through family trees of Kiritsugu trying to find the blonde man. The British man that was the
Or the British woman.
I don't know, someone.
That's unexpected. I'm not surprised by Tosaka's kindness, but that just that she'd have such feminine clothes.
それじゃああの鎧は今はうちに置いてあるのか
違います。あの鎧は私の魔力で編まれたものです。解除するということは消すということ。
なんだあの武装はいつでも出したり消したりできるって
Wait a minute, so Saber was technically naked when she was summoned by Shiro.
No, she has that dress. The dress under the armor.
No, but that's a Rin dress.
No, she has the blue dress under the armor. Under the
Oh,
plates.
okay. Okay, fair enough.
そっか
Oh, and by the way, now that Saber was not actually imploded by Berserker, technically she can still wear that dress.
Yeah. Maybe because
Wow.
I've kept so quiet up until now, my honest opinion slips out. We see her wearing it in the end of the Fate Rep. She sheds her armor in the fight against Gilgamesh, and when she disappears, she's wearing just the dress. Saber does not answer me and continues up the hill. We reach the school gate. Oh well, I guess I'll just pretend I'm showing a new student around school.
セイバー もし誰かに認められたら
International
何も言わずに首を振るんだぞ。
Exchange
日本語は分かりませんって顔ができればベストだ。セイバー、なんだよ怖い顔して。脅かしっこはなしだぞ。
いえ、別に白を見ていたわけではありません。
Oh, Saber
た
feels
だ
it.
魔力の残滓が強いままで驚いていただけです。
魔力の残滓、本当か？
Saber says so, but I don't feel anything. Well, I can't feel any magical energy unless it's really strong.
はい。と言っても、白には驚くべきことでもない。凛は素人は同学年なのでしょ？彼女ほどの魔術師が1年以上いる場所なのです。工房の一つも用意しているでしょうから、どう隠しても魔力は漏れる。
It seems that the magical energy Saber feels is from Taiga.
あいつも結構同志なんだな。入る前からセイバーに魔力感知されるなんて。あいつ中にいるのか？
いいえ、凛本人はいないようです。彼女がいるのならもっと強く感じ取れるでしょう。この敷地には魔術師らしき人間はいない。気になる違和感はありますが、とりあえず危険はありません。
だから危険なんてないって言っただろ。ほら、中に入るからちゃんとついてこいよ。
あれ、エミヤだ。何？もしかして食事は？
A person that knows you well comes in handy at a time like this. Mitsuzuri Ayako, the captain of the archery club, even figured out why I was here just by seeing me.
お疲れ。お察しの通り、飯を届けに来た。藤根は中にいるか？
いるいる。いやー、助かった。藤村先生ったら空腹でテンション高くて困ってたのよ。学食も休みだしさ、仕方ないんで買い出しに行こうかって考えあぐねてたところ。
そこまで深刻だったか。で、買い出しってまさか下の豊悦に一人でか？
そこ以外にどこがあるっていうのよ。ただでさえ備品で金食ってるんだから、非常食に金は避けないでしょ。
As expected from Mitsuzuri, the woman who hates to waste money. By the way, Toyoetsu is the name of the supermarket in the shopping district. In the archery club, anyone resting their arm and taking a break is sent on a grocery run as an exercise. It's a contradictory custom because even though it is an exercise to rest your arm, you have to carry back a lot of groceries.
そりゃ災難だったな。ほら、弁当。遅くなったけど、藤姉に渡してやってくれ。
I hold out the bag.
お、豪華三段セット。いいね。久しぶりに見た。エミヤはこういう細いの上手なのよね。
I don't know what she's happy about, but she smiles. Oh yeah, she's good at mass production. Mitsuzuri is usually in charge of dinner during our training camp, and she surprises us every time. The world of cooking is deep considering how a curry with whole potatoes in it tasted good. Well, anyways, Mitsuzuri only looks inside the bag and doesn't take it.
おい、嫌味はいいから受け取れ。中、藤姉が暴れてて大変なんじゃないのか？
そうね。そう思うんなら、さっさと中に入って藤村先生に手渡してあげるべし。大体ね、入り口であんたを返したなんて言ったら、もっとへそ曲げるに決まってるじゃない。私は藤村先生にしごかれたくはないからね。
She points to the range using her chin. She's right. It can get scary later on if I don't at least go see her. I'm not here for archery practice, so I can go home as soon as I hand her the lunch. Give up and head to the archery range.
けどな、三つ
Oh
り。
boy, he's
お前
so
も長いんだ
long.
から朝のうちに藤根の弁当ぐらい確認しとけよ。顧問が生徒の昼飯を物欲しそうに見て回るなんてイメージ悪すぎるぞ。
いや、それが私も今朝は疲れててさ、最近ちょっと忙しくてあんまり余裕がないんだな。ま、あんたに愚痴ってもしょうがないんだけど。
Then she suddenly comes up to me and whispers in my ear.
で、エミヤ、あれ何者よ。
Oh no.
すっごいでしょ。
Mitsuzuri.
知り合い？
Oh no, oh no.
Her voice is tense as she asks. Yeah, you'd usually be surprised to see Saber. All the more if she's coming into the archery range after me.
どうなのよエミヤ。
Oh yes.
知り合い？
説明すると複雑なんだが、そういうことにしておいてもらえると助かる。ついでにあいつが部室に入ってもみんなが騒がないように言い含めてくれるととんでもなく本に切る。
オッケー。事情は気になるけど、その交換条件は気に入った。エミヤ、後でチャラってのはなしだからね。
We have our life indebted to Mitsuzuri now. You'll be her slave. I open the door. Saber silently follows after me and Mitsuzuri. We enter the archery range. Range is as loud as a battlefield since it's right after lunch.
藤村先生、美咲さんがお腹痛くて死にそうだと言ってます。さっきの乾パン、いつの時代のだったんですか？
Oh man.
Classic Taiga.
そんなのただの腹痛
Classic
よ。
Taiga.
一緒に食べた先生は元気なんだから、美咲さんには昆布茶でも飲ませておきなさい。
Taiga's killing some children.
タイガ先生。
Oh, okay.
巻き割り練習するんでストーブ移動させてください。
Taiga killing
道場
someone.
の隅
Okay.
は寒いっす。はい、いい度胸してる君は半ズボンで道場3周、腐った少年
Oh my
ともども叩き直してきなさいね。
God.
先生、出血です。北子くんが鶴で頬を切りました。
Really over there.
うん、その程度なら保健室に行かなくてもいいわ。裏山に植えてあるアロエでも塗っときなさい。
What the fuck? I mean, she's not wrong.
That.
なんだってこんなに裏ぞってんのよ、この弓ってば。こんなんじゃうまく貼れないじゃない。ああ、そこ上から押さえて貼らないの。まだ若いんだから、難しいんなら2人でやんなさい。ひっくり返して切り爪が離れたら後で首を折っちゃうんだから。こうポキッと大事な弓を壊した生徒、私が。先生、切り子があります。
Jesus.
手が滑ります。
Man, this is the fucking messiest archery club I've ever seen.
あれ、本当？誰か
Please,
物
this
置に行って在
Taiga's
庫を取って
actually
きて。
club. What were you expecting?
先生、在庫切れです。原因は先日先生が発注を忘れたことだと思います。ああ、じゃあ1年は野球部から老人バッグちょっぱってくること。
Incredible.
うわ、
Frankly
むちゃくちゃな
incredible.
この先生。
Oh boy. Oh.
Man, this place doesn't change at all.
さて、
Can't be watching this hellish scene forever.
ちょうどいい。
Wait a
Oi,
minute.
Sakura.
She don't practice there every single morning for a good time.
Yes.
Jesus Christ.
I call out to her.
Oh yeah, Sakura's there. Oh yeah, Sakura will see Saber. That will be
Oh, that's
fun.
gonna be great. Sakura puts down the bow in her hand and runs to me.
先輩、どうしたんですか今日は。
No.
もしかしてその
No.
Fuck you.
なあ、
Nope.
藤姉に弁当を届けに来たんだ。悪いんだけど、あそこでむちゃくちゃ言ってる教師を連れてきてくれ。
Bruh. The disappointment is so
そうです
palpable.
よね。
I don't know where her cheerfulness went as she slumps her shoulders.
そういうこと。
Bruh.
藤姉、腹減って無理難題言ってるんだろ。手遅れかもしれないけど、とにかく弁当を作ってきたから食わせてやってくれ。それと、昨日は遅くなって悪かっ
Sakura's
た。
face of
晩飯作っ
sadness.
といてくれて
It's so
サンキュー。
good.
It's really a shame that Unlimited isn't here to see his wife was suffering.
Oh please. It will be even funnier when she
そう言ってもらえ
sees
ると
this
嬉しいです。
In the
the
video.
the video.
She looks behind me. There stands a gold-haired girl unsuited to this range.
先輩、
なんだ、もしかして本当に手遅れか。一応さくらの分も作っといたのも無駄。
Okay, we're back.
そんなことないです。私もお腹減ってます。その先生に半分あげちゃったから。
Oh, Taiga.
うん、そんなことだろうと思った。さくらのはすぐに食べられるようにしといたから、そう時間は取らないはずだ。ま、みんなもそういう事情なら昼食を再開しても文句ないだろうけどな。
そうです
Oh
ね。
no, there's one person.
そ それじゃあごちそうになりますけど、先輩、今日はずっと道場にいるんですか？
そうだな。せっかく来たんだし、部活が終わるまで学校にいるよ。昨日はすっぽかしたし、今日の夕飯は俺が作るから、さくらも食べに来てくれ。
はい、喜んで。それじゃあすぐに先生を呼んできますね。先輩、お弁当だけ置いてどこかに行くのはなしですよ。
Sakura goes to Fujine in a hurry. When I look around, Mitsuzuri is explaining things to the students that are getting rowdy from seeing Saber. Well, I've accomplished my goal.
Oh no.
Oh,
absolutely no. Oh, wait a minute.
これで
How
よう
would
や
an
く本調子
interaction
ね。
between Shinji and Taiga go?
That's a great question. The break room. Fujine is munching on some sweet bean jelly as she drinks some tea. The only thing audible in the quiet dojo is the sound of arrows. It must be because Fujine is calm now.
先生、そろそろ私も社長に出ますから失礼しますね。はいはい。あ、控えにいる三辻さんに話があるからこっちに来るよう伝えてもらえる？はい。先輩もゆっくりしていってください。できれば久しぶりに指導してもらえると助かります。
Sakura bows and leaves, but when she does so, she looks uneasily at Saber, who is watching us quietly by the wall.
で、シロはこの後どうするの？部活は5時に終わらせるけど、それまで見学していく？
What should I do? It seems Saber is looking at the archery range with interest, so I should...
Finally a choice.
Can we repeat? Because something tells me that is just a fun...
If I'm not mistaken, each one of these gives a point with a different girl. If we show Saber around school, we obviously get points with Saber. Go to the council room. I think... Oh, actually, I'm not sure anymore.
I don't want to spoil anything, but there is no risk of dying here.
So, Ollie, what do you think we should do? What interests you the most?
Let me think more clearly. If we stay at the archery range, we are probably going to find Shinji. That's no good. If we go to the student council room, we'll find Issei. That would be funny.
Yeah.
And if we show Saber around the school, there is maybe the opportunity that we'll find out.
I think it's a matter of who do you want to spend time with. We could go to the council room and see Issei.
But you said that if we stay in the archery range, we will get Saber points.
No, if we show Saber around school, we get 0 points. I think.
Oh.
I'm not sure. I think we're getting a lot of Saber points. More than wins.
Then let's go to the council room. I want to see the good old face. Yeah, go to the council room. I want to see the face
for
man
showing
himself.
Saber around school.
Oh wait, so we are actually in a draw.
We gotta try. Yes, Zevlen, please do your job.
Why do people do this to me?
This time it was not me. It was this tofu right there.
Yep.
Go to the council room or show Saber around school.
You could technically say that we should stay at the archery range and then we just end the episode right here, right now.
I don't want to end an episode without finishing a day. It's not going to take too much longer. So, go to the student council room or show Saber around school. Well, there is the Issei thing in the council room. I think we can do that. Why not? I'll sneak out for a bit. Issei might be there if I go to the student council room, and it wouldn't be a bad idea to start thinking up strategies for the final exam coming up in a month.
決めた。生徒会室に顔出してくれ。藤根、一星が来てたかわかるか？
竜道くん？どうだったかな。とりあえず私は見てないよ。
そっか。じゃあいなかったら戻ってくる。さくらにはよろしく言っといてくれ。
はいはい。女の子より男友達のがいいなんて、シローもまだまだ男の子よね。
I want to object, but Saber will notice me if I do.
Wait a minute. So, technically, we just ignored Sakura with that option of not staying in the archery club.
I'll let Fujine win this time, and I'll sneak out of here.
We made the right choice. Let's go.
妙な足遣いですが。
Screw you, Unlimited. We are ignoring Sakura for the rest of the episode. Let's go.
I guess sneaking out was useless. I tried to leave in a way that she wouldn't notice, but Saber is waiting for me outside.
セイバー。いや、これはその、なんだ。ちょっと用事を思い出してたな。
用事ですか。シローの要件は昼食を届けるだけだったと記憶していますが。
それが、まあ野暮用で、セイバーに言うほどのことでもなかったから黙ってたっていうか。
そうですか。些細な用事であるのなら、確かに私に伝える必要はありませんね。
I'm glad she's so understanding. I'm glad, but is it because of my guilty conscience that she looks mad?
そういうわけなんで、セイバーはここで待っててくれるか。1時間もしたら戻ってくるか。
Oh no.
ですが、それは昨日までのシローの生活です。今日からのシローはマスターとして振る舞わなければならない。ですから、どのような用事であれ、安全とわかるまで同行する義務があります。さて、私の意見に反論はありますか、シロー。
I do, but I can't think of any excuses that will convince Saber.
わかった。一緒に行こう、セイバー。
I slump my shoulders, give up, and call to her.
はい。そうしていただけると、私も助かる。
So the golden-haired foreign girl follows me as if it's natural to do so. Well, how will I explain to this to how will I explain to fuck me? How will I explain this to Issei? Oh my god.
Now you're feeling what we felt.
I had a stroke. I'm sorry.
And there was a brilliant moment. Wait, did we actually record this in the episode, or it was kind of a blooper moment?
I don't know.
When me, Unlimited, and Mapo Tofu were trying to say if they say so, it's right.
Yes,
We
did
a lot of
record
time.
that. Man,
That is pretty much your pain right now.
the student council's door is unlocked today of all days.
ゲの次はゲゲですか。シローはよほど私に隠し事をしたいらしい。
I did read that right. And on top of that, she clearly sees my displeasure. I don't know if it's her insight as a swordsman, but I don't think I can fool her.
隠し事っていうより騒ぎを大きくしたくなかっただけだ。けどまあ一星がいるのも何かの縁だろうし、セイバーに紹介しよう。
The student council room won't have any other students, and we'll be able to kill time until the archery club ends.
一星、シローの友人ですか。
なあ、この学校の、そうだな、自衛団のリーダーみたいなやつで円滑な組織運動を目指している鉄の男だ。
自衛団のリーダーですか。
なるほど。興味深い話が聞けそうですね。
そうかもな。お堅いやつだからセイバーとは話が合うかもしれないし。
The ultimate couple.
おい、お邪魔するぞ、一世。
She is unamused. I open the door. Then, there's an unexpected person in the student council room. I gulp. The one in the student council room is not Issei but Kuzuki-sensei, the teacher in charge of the student council.
失礼します。久月先生、伊勢は来てますか？
いや、今日は見ていないな。生徒会に何か用か、エミヤ。
いえ、生徒会というより、一斉に用があって、期末の対策とかそろそろ立てておきたいんです。
そうか。ではしばらく待ってみるのだな。竜道のことだ。家に飽きて逃げ込んでくる可能性もある。
俺、生徒会室にいていいんですか？
構わんだろう。お前が生徒会室にいることが問題なら、当の昔に事件が起きている。
Damn.
戸
That
締まりは
dude
任
can
せる。
pretty much
鍵は
talk like
私
a
の
text
机
to
に置いて
speech,
おいて
but
くれ。
that's a major achievement, I guess.
Yep. He's a very interesting person. With that, Kuzuki-sensei leaves the student council room. I guess he was being considerate. According to Issei, Kuzuki-sensei seems cold, but he actually has a delicate personality. He must have thought it would be awkward for me to wait in the student council room with a teacher. Then, as Kuzuki-sensei leaves the room, he bumps into Saber, who is waiting behind me.
先生、その子は俺の知り合いで、今年受験するかもしれないんで、見学に来たというか。
I quickly make up an excuse, but this excuse won't be of any use. Even if she might be a potential student, I cannot bring an outsider into the school. Fujine is fine with that, but I don't think the one in charge of the student council will consent to an excuse like this.
そうか。外国からの入学者は初めてだな。意外だが変化があることは喜ぶべきだろう。
I guess Kuzuki-sensei is more understanding than I thought, as he's watching Saber with admiration.
入学すれば周りから注目されることは避けられまい。エミヤ、知り合いなら気を使ってやれ。お前も来年は3年生だ。最上級生として後輩の世話はしっかりな。
はい、どうもです、先生。
休日の下校時間は5時だ。校門が閉まる前に下校しろ。
He leaves for the teacher's office. Saber watches him
そういえ
go.
ば、久月先生がどうかしたのか？
いいえ、特に何も。初めはただ者ではないと感じたのですが、見れば見るほど一般人でした。断言できますが、彼はマスターではありません。
I'm a bit surprised. It seems Saber is checking if people are masters or not every time we meet someone.
そりゃ結構。久月先生がマスターだったら俺もびっくりだ。けど、ただものじゃないってどういうことだよ。なんか特別なものを感じたのか？
いいえ、特別なものなど何も。ただ、彼の呼吸はあまりにも自然で整いすぎていた。正直に言うと感心していたのです。先ほどの歩みも全く無駄がなく。
We saw him during the tier list episode. He was one of the characters to rank.
Yeah.
He will either be a Mitsuzuri or he's a master, and this kind of comment makes me think he's a master of someone.
Saber is really
It
praising
would
him.
not make
Maybe he's just a psychopath. Who knows? Those people usually have very controlled everything. But if he's that good, isn't he suspicious?
待てよ、セイバー。じゃあ、久月先生、戦えばすごく強いっていうのか？
先ほどの人物ですか？彼ならそうですね。肉体的な性能なら白と同じぐらいではないでしょうか。実質的な戦闘はやはり一般人と変わらないと思いますが。
Saber looks at me with wonder, but I'm the one wondering. Kuzuki-sensei got Saber to admire him, so what does she mean by him being an ordinary person?
ですから 私が感心したのは呼吸です。先ほどの人物の呼吸は人として理想的だった。
Then, while we drink the tea we brewed here, Saber explains in a strange way.
呼吸って息を吸う呼吸だよな。それが理想的だからどうだって言うんだ。
どうも何も身体能力はおろか自然干渉にも大きく影響します。西洋の術者は重要視しませんが、東洋の教えでは呼吸や歩法は学んでも習えぬ高等技術だと聞きます。息吹、外気を体内に取り入れることは外界と内界をつなげる明確なイメージです。吸う、吐くという動作は神を取り入れ解放する動作の一環だとか。この正しい呼吸法は各流派で非問であり、習得できる者は一世代に一人いればいい方でしょう。言ってみれば呪文を用いて魔術を行う者は魔術師に過ぎません。ですが呼吸、歩法、骨格、その存在自体が真意をなす場合、その人物は魔術師を凌駕した純粋な魔術回路ということです。
ああ、そういえば神道にそういうのがあったっけ。足運びだけで魔を退けたり、柏手で魔を払ったりするあれかな。
はい、それらの体現法は一生かけて習得するものです。ですが稀に生まれついて正しい呼吸や歩法を得る者もいる。異能者であるがゆえ、幼い頃から神道、神事騒がれ、結局は魔道の者たちに引き取られるのが常ですが、中には誰の目にも留まらず成長する者もいる。そういった人間は魔術の存在など知らないまま魔術師以上の神秘に。
ですが久月先生はそういう生まれついての天才なのか。
いいえ、あの人物にそれほどの才気は感じられません。その今までの話と矛盾するのですが、彼が正しい呼吸と歩法を身につけているのは私も信じられないのですが、彼は魔術師でもないし、ですがたまたま日頃の運動が彼に正しく作用しているだけのようなのです。
What does that mean? Does it mean Kuzuki sensei is living a pure and honest life?
そういえば、じゃあ久月先生は
教師として理想的な人物ということです。
彼
彼のような人物は珍しくない。ただ私のように鍛えても正しい呼吸が身につかないものからすれば。
Saber sighs with regret. That's something more surprising for me, though. So even Saber, who can do everything, can envy someone, huh? As it turned out, Issei never showed up. The school's almost closing, so we lock up the room and go back to the archery range. The club ends when the sun starts setting. The sun sets earlier in the winter time, and they must also take into account the dangerous events happening recently.
そういえば三剣、シンジのやつはどうしたんだ。
あいつはサボり。新しい女でもできたのか。最近はこんなもんよ。
Mitsuzuri says this as if it's nothing and walks to the school building.
じゃあね、私職員室に用があるから。
Oh wait, is she making a joke about Shiro and Saber?
No, she's talking about Shinji. Shiro hasn't skipped school at all yet. Holding the key in her hand, the archery club captain leaves. We're at the front gate. Fujine, Sakura, Saber, and I part with everyone else here. We start going down the hill with those voices in the background. We keep walking. Sakura and Fujine are beside me and Saber is following behind us.
はてな、あの子どうして私たちについてくるの？
Then, it seems she only realized it now.
ねえ、シロ、知り合い？
It's the second time today that I've heard that question. Thanks to Mitsuzuri letting me practice, I'm able to answer without hesitation.
知り合いだよ。俺が連れてきたんだから当然だろ。
やっぱりそうですよね。 それで先輩、あの人とはどういったご関係なんですか？
シロに外国人さんの友達がいるなんて聞いてなかった。
いや、友達じゃなくて親父の知り合いなんだ。親父が飛び回ってた頃知り合った人の
There you go,
娘
the
さんだっ
daughter
て。
of a friend.
キリツグさんの？じゃああの子、キリツグさんを訪ねに来たの？
そういうこと。今日からしばらくうちで暮らすからよろしくしてやってくれ。
Sakura and Fujine give the same reaction at the same time. Well, it's natural for them to be surprised.
シロ、クラスってあの子と同居するっていうの？
同居じゃない。セイバーが滞在するのはほんのちょっとの間だけだ。宿として家を貸すだけなんだから。そう。
先輩、あの人セイバーさんって言うんですか？
ああ、珍しい名前だけどな。あんまり日本に慣れてないんで変わったところもあると思う。あ、それと不愛想なやつだけど根はいいやつなんだぞ。さくらも仲良くしてくれると助かる。
はい、それはいいですけど。
Sakura looks away from me and looks at Fujine as if asking for help.
藤村先生はセイバーさんの滞在を許可するんですか？
教師としては当然アウトなんだけど、キリツグさんを頼ってきた子を無下にはできないし、しっかりしてるようだし、間違いは起きないかな。ね、シロもそうなんでしょ？
Fujine glances at me and asks me an impolite question.
当然だろ。親父の客なら俺の客だ。失礼なことなんてできないし、何より妹みたいなもんじゃないか。
そういえばあの子何歳？さくらちゃんより年下みたいだけど。
まあそんな感じかな。
She stares at my face. Then, once we come to the bottom of the hill,
シロ、あの子のこと好きなの？
what the fuck? She suddenly gets me with a surprise attack.
そんなの知るか。俺だって会ったばっかりなんだからどうこう言えるわけないだろ。
My face is burning. I bet my face is all red right now.
嘘はないけど脈はありか。
I don't know what she read off of me, but Fujine crosses her arms and grows quiet as if she's pondering something. To sum things up, Saber's stay was approved.
いいんじゃない？ホームステイと思えばいい経験だし、ここって無駄に部屋が多いもの。
Fujine makes up her mind. Sakura was silent the whole time, but
はい、私が意見できることじゃありませんから。
it seems she understood in the end. So it's dinner time now. I put extra effort into it as a welcome party for Saber and as a thanks for last night. I prepared minced bonito salad, fried chicken, meat stew, and tempura of every kind. The dinner consisting of various dishes. Ends without anyone saying anything. I washed the dishes in the kitchen. It's not like I was hoping for a cheerful dinner from the very first day, but couldn't there have been a little bit more conversation? I think today's tempura was really well made. It was perfectly made, so they should have at least said something.
そのくせ全部平らげるんだもんな。出たセリフがおかわりかける3ってのは何なんだ。
Cleaning up after 4 people takes a bit of effort. Actually, could there be a meaning behind the fact that Sakura's not coming to help me tonight?
さて、ご飯も食べたし。
It's past 9 o'clock. I usually go home around this time.
藤根、帰るならさくらの見送り頼む。
I call out to her while doing the dishes in the kitchen. There's no reply. Fujine is watching TV like she didn't hear me.
もしもし、聞こえなかったんですか、藤村先生。
I go to the living room and tap her head. Then,
悪いけどそれは却下。しばらくはさくらちゃんを送ってあげられないから。
なんでさ。
用じゃなくて今日から私もここに泊まるから。
It's as if it's already decided.
はい。
Oh no.
さくらちゃんもどう？
Oh
お家の方に
no.
私から連絡入れておくから安心だよ。
Oh
女の子
no.
3人一緒にいた方が楽しいでしょ
Considering that this is the win route, this is going to be fun.
藤村先
Oh my god.
です
The conspiracy. Wait, why is Sakura so
no.
enthusiastic?
よーし、それじゃあ奥の座敷を使おう。布団ならいっぱいあるし、浴衣も人数分あるわよ。セーバーちゃんもいるわね。
Does Shinji not actually exist in this route or something like that?
No one cares about Shinji. Is it just me or does it sound more like an order? Saber's looking at me as if asking for help.
困りますしろ。私はあなたの守護をするのですから、彼女たちと同じ部屋では役目が果たせない。
悪い。藤姉が言い出したら、それに、どうもこれを交換条件にしている節がある。断ったら、セイバーをうちに住ませるって約束を破棄されそうだ。そうなったら俺たち、外で野宿するしかないぞ。
それも困る。この屋敷の結界は優れていますから、拠点としては申し分ないのです。ここにいる限り、シロは敵の奇襲に備えられます。
そうか。ならなおさら我慢してくれ。屋敷にいる限り何かあってもすぐに合流できるだろう。その藤姉の相手は大変だけど、困ったら日本語わかりませんって言えばいい。
ほらそこ、内緒話は禁止なんだから。そういうわけでセーバーちゃんはこっち。シローは男の子なんだから一人でも平気よね。
Fujine pulls Saber to her. It's all decided. Saber's stay is approved, Fujine is staying, and Sakura is going to keep them company as well. The population here has increased dramatically in one day. This place really is like a hotel now. We all know what this means, right? Collateral damage! Yay!
Oh no. Oh no.
It's
Damn.
bedtime. The lights finally go out in the noisy tatami-floored room and silence returns. They say it gets noisy wherever women gather, and I guess that holds true even for the quiet Saber and Sakura.
いや、違うか。メインで聞こえてきたのは藤姉の笑い声だもんな。
But still, it's true that it was loud in their room. It's not good for my mental health to have girls my age being rowdy in the same
く
house.
そ。気になって眠気なんてなくなった。
Things like Saber's troubled face, if Saber and Sakura are getting along, and whether Fujine is thinking at all or not. I get a headache the more I think about them. If it's like this, I might have been better to have Saber sleep in the room next to mine. It's 11 o'clock. The lights are out and the house is dead silent. I quietly make my way to the door so that I won't wake them up. I go outside. The moon is bright and the wind is cold. Under the winter sky, the world is silent as if frozen.
I'm really expecting Archer to come out of nowhere and start talking to him about life or something like that.
That'd be pretty funny. But they still don't live together. They don't live together yet, I mean. So.
Wait, oh, that would that. I mean, it's kind of obvious they will eventually live with each other, but anyway.
It's quiet inside the shed. This is the place where Lancer cornered me last night. This is also.
Thank you for the spoiler, old stranger.
Yep.
Random stranger.
This is also the place where Saber appeared. The entrance is open and it's dark outside, and it's dark inside, as if to drive away anybody that might enter. I go inside. I shut the door to keep the air out and turn on the stove.
日に200以上の矢をかけろ。
The teaching of archery focuses on accuracy, piercing strength, and endurance. Accuracy is how well one can hit the target. Piercing strength is the power to pierce the target. And endurance is to maintain the accuracy and the piercing strength. I think there was something in archery manual, something about continuing forever after one masters the true meaning of archery, and how one should shoot more than 200 arrows a day.
マスターとして何をするべきかわからないなら、せめて魔術だけは鍛えないと。
I sit down and take a deep breath. I adjust my breathing and start my usual training. My mind imagines the same thing. An image of a sword pops into my brain. I ignore it and clear my head even more. After letting magical energy flow throughout my body, I start the strengthening magic like always. The magic that I succeeded at for the first time in a few years last night. I have to repeat it before I forget the sensation.
Tres. On.
Tres. Wait a minute, what?
I narrow my eyes and breathe out.
Wait a minute, he already has Trace on?
No, he always said that. He can't project, or he doesn't know he can project. But that's all for now. He does project. He doesn't know the extent of what he can do. So I'll forget about the Holy Grail War, Saber, and Tosaka once I start this process. I'll clear my head from all hesitations. But during the process, the thought that Tosaka might be doing the same training never escapes my head. Interlude 4-1, Unlimited Blade Works. She goes through the darkness, a desolate night. She enters the room from the dark hallway. This is a very Kara no Kyokai moment. This is a room in the building somewhere. There are about 50 workers here. Most are male, and all of them are scattered about like puppets with their strings cut off. She grits her teeth. The darkness is helping her as she cannot see well. The air in this room is filled with the rotten smell of a plant. Opening the door and the windows, she asks someone behind her. There is no one there, but there is a presence thicker than the air behind her. She opens the windows and treats those who are in especially bad condition. After that, she leaves the room. She sniffs her coat. She didn't touch it in particular, but her coat smells like rusted iron. The room was sealed, and the floor of that room was covered in blood that the people threw up. The presence behind her takes form. What appears behind her, Tosaka-rin, is a knight in red. It is Archer who was protecting her in spirit form. He speaks sarcastically, but Rin does not answer him. It's not a mistake that she made Berserker retreat and helped Saber. And most of all, Archer has not shown the full scope of his power yet. Last night, it's true that the arrow Archer fired stopped Berserker, but Dean has yet to figure out his true identity, the identity of that powerful noble phantasm.
Dim.
No, she knows the principle behind it. That was just a bomb. He just exploded the bomb called the noble phantasm in front of his enemy. It does not need to be said how extraordinary that was. It was a one-time explosion of magical energy using the strongest phantasm possible. Broken Phantasm. That is the name of the noble phantasm this knight in red possesses.
Dim.
But it is too strange. A servant only wields one noble phantasm, and it is a part of them that they had for their whole life. What hero can possibly destroy such a thing freely?
Dim.
It's not easy to fix a destroyed noble phantasm. It's like committing suicide for a servant to destroy his noble phantasm.
Dim.
In other words, Archer abandoned his strongest weapon when he still had 6 more enemies he needed to defeat. No, first of all, he destroyed the proof of his heroism under his own will. It's so crazy that other servants would faint from shock if they would find about this.
Rim!
何？ごめん、聞いてなかった。
今夜はこれからどうすると聞いたのだ。先ほどの戦闘で疲れているだろうし、大丈夫とって戻らないかとな。
Yeah, from last day, yesterday.
Oh, okay.
She's been going for
enough.
all this time. Dean clenches her fist at Archer's words. The previous battle, bone golems that were swarming in the hallway. She defeated them all by herself. She did not need Archer's help, nor did she want it. Most of all, she felt anger towards the enemy who was breaking the Magi's rule of not involving innocent people. That's why she destroyed them. She mercilessly eliminated every one of them. She did not show any sympathy, even if those bones could have been a living person just hours ago. So it's not the same fight as yesterday's, right? She's talking about those bone golems that Caster summoned when she invaded Shido's house. So she must have summoned them elsewhere, perhaps in her own house, or in this building.
Well,
that she just
maybe in Shiro's house, maybe summoning it in Shiro's house was not the first time she summoned them.
Precisely.
During this night route.
I think what might have happened is she sensed that something was wrong in this building, and she went to investigate. And she found all those bone golems guarding the rooms filled with the workers.
By the way, the fact that apparently both Caster and Assassin are in the same temple makes me think that Archer and Saber are not the only alliance in this damn war.
Yeah, who knows? She did not suffer any wounds from the battle, except one. Since she fought while suppressing her nausea, she cut her lip from biting down on it.
気配はまだ残っているんでしょ？竜道寺に逃げられる前に型をつける。
何？驚いたな。できないと思ったことはやらないのが。
そうよ。私、結果が分かりきっていることはできない。けどこれは別でしょ？今から追いかければ尻尾ぐらいはつかめるだろうし。
喧嘩を売らなければ気が進まない。やれやれ。倒しやすい相手を放っておいて。最も倒しがたい相手を追うとは。
うん。いいのよ、セイバーのことは放っておいて。あんなのはいつだって始末できるんだから、別に目の敵にする必要ないじゃない。ちゃんとおとなしくしているんなら、無理に手を出すこともないわ。あいつが家に隠れている分には見逃してあげるだけよ。
ほう。では、あのマスターが目の前にいれば、話は違うのかな？
His words are meant to test her. Looking down at the night town.
そんなこともわからないやつにかける義理なんてない。
Tolsakarin answers as if convincing herself. Interlude out. And now the weather.
That's probably it for today, isn't it?
Oh, that is it for today, yes. I'll be kind on you. So, what comments do we have?
I just want to comment.
Turn of events. We did not see Shinji in the archery club. We saw an interesting occupation in Shiro's house, and this new character to a certain degree that practically did not exist in Fate's Igniter is quite interesting. Interesting that they had a whole conversation about him.
A quick
Mapo Tofu?
Quick comment on the next day's name, Bonnie and Clyde. Just imagine what it means.
Yes, that's a good one. That's a good observation. Well, anything else?
But yeah, basically it was pretty nice, hanging around with Saber, not having the romantic tension between the two going on, just as friends or master and servant and Shiro.
I guess it's a little bit sweet, but at the same time bitterness. bittersweet moment. Sorry, I was forgetting that word.
Yeah.
Because yeah, it's fun to talk with Saber, but at the same time, it's not the Saber that we met in Fate's Day Night.
Yeah, definitely. No, it is good to talk to
And
Saber
and
normally, but at the same
and
time, it is a
knowing that
shame.
this is Rin's paradise is to a certain degree tragic. Seeing a Saber that will never get to redeem
I
herself.
mean, there are two endings to this route. You never know what might happen.
We never know which one we're
Bruh,
gonna get first.
bruh,
Yeah.
buddy. This is Rin's paradise. Everyone knows that this is Rin's paradise. The damn cape of the anime had Rin and Arthur and Shiro, I guess, if I don't remember. I don't
And
recall
Saber.
correctly.
Saber in the way
Not
back.
exactly in the way back, in like in the end of it.
No, no, no,
Not
no,
as
no, no,
not
no,
as
no.
big as
I
Rin.
remember it clearly.
Do you
It
remember?
was Archer,
Do you remember?
big Archer in the back, and Shiro in the front, Saber and Rin
Oh
and
yeah,
the
that's true.
sides.
Yeah, that's true. Well, either way, it is a Saber that won't see redemption, or in the sense not redemption really, because she didn't redeem any of the atrocities she committed to herself or in life generally, but it's a Saber that won't ever see healing, and that won't move on from her terrible outlook on herself and her life. And it is a Saber that holds that awful goal of erasing herself from existence and condemning herself to eternal suffering, right? So even if this brief, she is happy because she isn't being tested, right? She's ultimately happy because she can drive faster towards the end of the cliff. And that's kind of sad. I don't know. It is a
I
shame.
don't know if I don't know if I get sad or if I get happy, because in the previous route, Hero was like, "No, Saber can't fight. She's a woman."
No, but that's not it. You know that's not it. Don't be
No, yeah,
insincere. Like he created that excuse to justify having Saber not fight. It wasn't a question of him actually.
yeah,
He needed an excuse.
no, yeah. But also because in the previous route, after fighting Berserker, she was torn apart, and yeah, pretty. I'd be worried too.
Either way, it is a shame that she won't get to find actual happiness this time around. But either way, this is assuming she gets to the end anyways, right? Who knows?
Hmm?
Things are very different this time around, so anything can happen.
Yeah, it really gives a feeling of Hero is alone this time with Saber.
There we go.
He cannot rely on Rin.
Things have reset. I just wanted to show that.
Nothing new.
Yeah, no, we've gone back to the knowledge that we have in the moment. So we have lost all the extra knowledge. We can access that old knowledge from the main menu, but not from the game menu. I just wanted to show that. Very well. So this has been it. Thank you for showing up. Hopefully we can get back to it next week. And we will see February 4th, which is a very eventful day. That's going to be fun.
Which day is not actually an eventful day?
Today wasn't very eventful. I mean, outside of the interlude
guess.
and the couple funny and weird things that happened. I'm definitely very excited to see how having everyone live under the same roof is going to impact the damage suffered from attacks on the house. Because that's going to be something that happened last time, right? So it's bound to happen this time too.
I guess.
Well, that is it. Goodbye.
Bye bye.